Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis from News 2, Parker Kelly with you on this Wednesday morning, broadcasting live from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Great to be back in studio with Corey. We've been, all over the place the last couple of
Road
weeks.
tripping.
Yes, you were at the Combine,
Yep.
then I was in Greenville, and then last week I was out on Broadway. I heard that things got off the rails that day a little bit.
Well, I mean, I was back and forth, man. I was like, I was going and setting on my laptop, going back in the interviews, coming back out, going back in. It was a long day.
Yeah, you had DeMarco Murray walking behind you.
Yeah. God, he looks good.
That's what you said. You said he could still play.
I was like, hey, Darko, congrats on the job. He's like, hey, man, thanks. I'm like, God, you look like you could play.
You want to sign a contract?
Holy cow. He's one of my favorite players. He wasn't here very long, but I really liked him.
He was one of those guys that sparked things here in 2016.
And he was a pro.
Yeah.
He was a pro. He helped show everybody how you work.
I think you could argue that Derrick Henry may not have been the Derrick Henry we've come to know without DeMarco Murray. I know that he kind of took his step after Murray was gone when they brought in Dion Lewis, but
he took a step back when they had Dion Lewis too.
But I don't think Derrick Henry was ready to be the guy. Coming out of college pretty clearly. So having DeMarco Murray there to carry the load for a couple of years was huge. But I think we have to start with the big question, apparently.
Okay.
Your thoughts on raccoons?
Oh, my. I don't hate raccoons. I like raccoons. I remember growing up, we would go to this place. I grew up in the Chicago area, for those of you who don't know by now. And we had a cabin. When I say cabin, I mean cabin. All right. Up in Wisconsin, about 8 hours north near the Minnesota border. And there was a petting zoo there called Fonderosa.
Okay.
And you could walk around, you could feed the deer like seeds and ice cream cones.
Yeah.
All sorts. Well, they had a petting area for raccoons.
Interesting.
Until the day I saw them feed the raccoons. And then I'm like, I'm never touching that again. I mean, they threw like raw chicken in there and like you saw the teeth come out and them all just hissing and growling at each other.
Raccoons are the worst.
And then so I was like, raccoons. Never doing that again.
The PKs, Parker and Paul, both anti-raccoon.
Well, when I was in Chicago, apparently it's a common thing to walk through back alleys, in your neighborhood.
Sure.
So my wife decided it would be a good idea to take me down a dark alley one night, and you just see all these raccoons, and they're fat. I mean, these are big old boys.
We have them in the parking lot at News 2.
They're feeding on the trash.
Yeah, we have them. And I'll tell you, I went out to the News 2 parking lot one night, and I heard like the most. I thought aliens were fighting. I'm like, what is this noise? And then I see these 3 raccoons who were fat emerging from underneath one of the cars. And I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. But I lived in Virginia for a short time.
Yeah.
And we were walking down the street and I turned and there's a 6 foot high wood fence. Okay. And it's running perpendicular to me on the left. All right.
Okay.
And I look down about, 15, 20 yards. And I see these 2 eyes look at me and I'm like, oh, and all of a sudden it starts running at me. And I'm like, that's a funky looking cat the way it's running. And I'm like, oh God, that's not a cat. I mean, it was like a 30-pound raccoon.
Wow.
And he is running at me on this fence full speed. And I looked at my wife at the time and I'm like, run, run. Okay. So my point is, cute, adorable, vicious.
Maybe T-Rack is more menacing than we thought.
Yeah. I still look. I understand it's a state animal. I'm not the extreme that Paul is. No one is. But I mean, he's got nothing to do with the team other than being the state
right.
animal.
I think Paul is right. It should be Greek mythology related.
Yeah.
Like you're the Titans.
I mean, the Philly fanatic has nothing to do with Philly, but I mean, he is who he is.
Yeah.
But like the Bears never really had a mascot. The Packers don't have a mascot. The Steelers don't have a mascot.
Yeah.
So
in the NFL, it's less common to have
it's a grown man sport. Jake.
Yeah. It's less common to have a literal mascot.
It's a grown man sport.
You know what the Titans should do? Just go with blob culture. Get a Titans gritty or whatever, or Big Red from Western Kentucky. Just something that makes absolutely no sense.
I have a better, T-Rack, but I have a better idea. Go out and win some freaking games.
Yes.
Go win some games. That's all. Nobody remembers what T-Rack did during the game. They do remember the scoreboard. All right.
As we talked about with the uniforms last week, it's going to look a lot better if they're winning in them.
That's right.
So overall, your thoughts on the rebrand?
You know, I understand, like, however you feel at home, you have the right to those feelings.
Yeah.
I'm not here to tell you that you're right or that you're wrong. You know, the uniform looks better than I expected. And you know, yes, it looks like
It's Oilersy. Yep.
It is very Oilersy, but it's the Titans logo on it. So there's still the Titans. That's still the name. It's just the uniform is very similar. I think the white face mask, which I was kind of anti when I heard about it, is much cleaner.
Yeah.
And very stormtroopery. And I'm more down with it than I expected to be. I was really glad they added, you know, we saw the mocks of the helmet and they didn't include the red circle around the shield.
Yeah.
And I was like, gosh, that looks washed out and bad. And then when you add the red circle, I think it looks better.
Yep.
I think it could look a little bit even better if some of the, you have the white stars and the white T.
Yeah.
If you pipe that in red too. But I'm sure they looked at that as well. I'm sure they looked at every variation you could ever imagine. That's just a thought that pops into my head. It looks, with the red, it looks better. And when you go back to the old Oiler logo, it had red around the oil derrick. And so, you know, does it bother me that it's Oilers? No, it doesn't, because they're still the Titans.
Yeah.
The you know, the uniform just marries them back to the Oilers. And does that make you just, you know, less distinct? Probably. But, you know, I think PK kind of touched on it. You haven't really distinctly made yourself, but, you know, we say this, you know, the Broncos changed their look completely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same colors, but they changed their look completely.
Yeah.
The Bucks completely changed their look.
Yeah.
I mean, they even changed their colors. And so, you know, it's not unheard of. You know, you'd like to be the Bears, the Packers, the Steelers, the Cowboys, and, you know, just be rolling with the same. The Rams changed their look. I mean,
yeah.
I mean,
I mean, multiple times.
I mean, it's yeah. I mean, they have changed their look multiple times, and they're an historic franchise. I think number one, the uniform looks good. All right. And number two, you win games. All right. You win games, the uniform looks great. You look bad, you play bad, and you lose. That just gives, you know, people are going to complain about it because it's just something else to complain about.
Yep. I think the Oilers look is their best look, so I'm happy with it. Like, I think that the light blue and the red, I think it's their best look. And I know the people who want more Navy, apparently the rivalry uniforms, the alternates are going to be Navy.
Look, I didn't hate the last uniforms like a lot of people did.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was fine with them, but what I don't mean, I'm not the big uniform guy, so maybe I'm not the best guy to ask. But, like, you know, give me some of those throwbacks that the Bears and the Steelers and the Packers wear, and I'll tell you, those things stink.
They are bumblebees.
They're horrible. They're all horrible.
Yeah.
They should never be worn.
Yeah, there are some bad ones out there. The Packers and Steelers, like
Bears,
old school throwbacks. What do the Bears ones look like?
I think it's like a orange and blue, like, stripy thing.
I see it. Yeah. The orange, like, they look kind of like Michigan helmets with the orange. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of those.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Well, and the good news for Titans fans now is 10 years from now, the Titans will have Titans throwbacks, and they'll go back to the original look.
It'll be the Fireball. Yeah.
Right, the Fireball and the two-tone blue, and that'll be a throwback look.
But will it be this look with the Navy helmet, or will it be the white helmet Fireball?
I would guess it's the white helmet Fireball.
You would think it would be the OG.
I think the 2018 to 2025 uniforms are going to
it's a failed experiment,
be like pushed under the rug.
Okay. I didn't hate them though.
They weren't the worst, but every year I feel like I like them less. Like when they first came out, I was ready for a fresh look from the original, but every year I was like, the Navy helmet.
Here's something that nobody talks about. And look, they were first, but the Texans are Navy.
Yeah.
And so you're two Navy teams. And, you know, like I said, you were first,
Right.
You were first with Navy, but the Texans took Navy. And you know what you say? Okay, you guys have Navy. We'll go back
Yep.
to the Columbia blue predominance. And we can talk about Houston's failed attempt at claiming the Oilers, because I'm old enough to remember the Save the Oilers rally that
Yeah.
they tried to have in Houston, and 8 people showed up. They have no claim to that team whatsoever. The Adams family owns the team. Houston gave up the team. It's like breaking up your girlfriend and then like 20 years later saying, well, no, you were my girlfriend first. But you were my girlfriend first. No, you were my girl. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. You had your chance. You blew it. You could have kept him, but instead you wanted to, I don't know, just be disagreeable.
Right. I will never understand why Houston thinks they have a right to those uniforms.
They don't.
Like, honestly, and I know that the Colts stayed the Colts when they left, so obviously it's different. But like
the Ravens changed.
But like the Colts left in the dark of night. Like, if anything, Baltimore would have more of a claim than Houston would.
Yes.
Who Houston basically said, we don't want you anymore. We're not going to build you a new stadium.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, there are teams that leave because the owner's greedy and manipulative. Like when the Rams left.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy cut off talks with St. Louis like 3 years earlier.
Right.
And he went and played in Europe 900 times just so the league would push it through. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
He wanted to go to LA. It wasn't that St. Louis wasn't willing to work with him. He just wanted to go to LA.
Yeah.
That was shady and underhanded and blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
blah. But the NFL was like, okay, we want to be in LA. So this is great.
Right.
But you know, there are teams though where, like, look, I've been in the Astrodome. I've covered like high school football games in the Astrodome, and for the life of me, I have no idea why anyone would ever do anything in that building. It is a cement dump, just a dump. It's the worst facility. I've been in sports broadcasting now for 35 years. It is the worst facility I have ever set foot in. Ever. I've been to high school stadiums far nicer than the Astrodome. There are high school stadiums in Houston that the Oilers could have played in were nicer than the Astrodome.
I'm sure. Texas high school football, they do it right out there.
Yeah, but they play the championship in the Astrodome. I'm like, why are you here? This place stinks.
It's an NFL stadium.
No, it's not. It's an eyesore from space.
Yeah.
You see it, and it's just like, it's hideous on the outside, and it's even more hideous on the inside. You know, it originally had a glass roof.
Really?
Yeah, originally had a glass roof, and they tried to grow grass inside, but it wouldn't work. So they covered the roof and put in the worst turf ever, them in Philadelphia.
I love it. The Titans' new uniforms, they look a lot like the Oilers. They do.
They do, but I mean, look, do they look good?
Yes.
That's
and
it.
That's my thought too, is like, I like the way they look.
The players freaking love them.
Right. And I think that's important too.
It is.
You're rebranding for the new stadium, which I will say, the field mock-up that they made, I thought it looked great in there with the logo and the end zones.
I was a part of that meeting PK was talking about, and we talked about a lot of things. And one of them was when we brought back the Titans said, when we brought back the Oiler throwbacks, we sold so much merch and continued to sell so much merch, we had to remove around our team store to add more space for it.
Yeah.
And continued to have to do that. So it was clearly ringing true with a lot of
the fans were asking for it.
Yes.
I think there's a vocal minority that doesn't like it because it's too Oilersy, but that's what I think it's their best look. I really do.
I mean, look, you're never going to make everybody happy.
Right.
And if you're not happy, look, I support you. You have the right to not be happy. That's fine. If you think the team is turning their back on the Titans in Tennessee, then that's the way you feel. They're in the business of making money.
Yeah.
Right? They should be in the business of winning football games. They're trying that. But they don't do things just to do them.
Yeah.
Hey, let's do this. You know, there's an idea. Sometimes it's a flawed idea, but there's an idea behind everything.
Right.
And, you know, is this the uniform? I think that was one of the conversations. Is this the uniform that is going to stand the test of time? And I think the feeling is yes, that this combination is popular. It is sharp. And 50 years from now, the Titans will largely still be wearing this uniform.
Yeah, and I think that has to be the case. You're doing this full rebrand into the new stadium.
I agree.
You got to hit, and I think they did. I think it looks good.
Until 20 years later when we start building the new stadium.
Right.
Because that's what everybody does now.
615-737-1025 is the phone number. If you want to text or call and join the conversation, you can. 615-737-1025. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We will keep talking Titans when we come back. Some moves in free agency over the past week, and there's one position that I think you look at and say, there's a big question mark for the Titans. One spot on the roster, I would say.
I think I know where you're going.
We'll go with it next. 615-737-1025. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Parker Kelly. Next man up. 1025 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Parker Kelly with you on your Wednesday morning. Talking Titans here to start off the show. Free agency, for the most part, has run its course. The first wave, there's going to be more signings here and there, but yeah. So we're
in a third wave.
We're into the point where you're adding depth
bargains.
Pieces. There are still guys out there.
Well, see, this is the time where you really get your bargains.
Right.
The guys who didn't get picked over in the first couple, and now they just kind of got to take what they can get.
Right. If you want to play, you got to take what's out there.
And so, so this is the chance you go, wow, we got this guy for that. I
mean,
the Titans got those guys last year. I mean, Jihad Ward, he was like,
was he might have been a summer edition.
Yes, I think he was a camp edition.
Yes, he was, because he was added after Lorenzo Carter retired.
Yeah, and he was a huge upgrade.
Right. So the Titans are going to add more. They added a swing tackle, Austin Deculus. I want to say that's how that's pronounced.
Yeah, from the Chargers.
Who started 5 games on that just injury-riddled offensive line for the Chargers last year.
After the Chargers lost their 2 starting tackles, the ones who replaced them
were not great.
No.
So
yeah.
They add depth behind Latham and Moore. I would think they might draft somebody too, day 3, to add to that mix, because Brandon Crenshaw Dixon, and I'm blanking on who the other guy they have behind the 2 starters is, but it's not great.
They had Udo, and I think
Udo's gone.
Yeah. So
I think Deculus is your Udo replacement.
Yeah.
So you look at the Titans, they're going to make more moves, but I mentioned it heading into the break. There's one spot you look on this team and you say that's a big question mark. They're not elite anywhere, I don't think. But I think
defensive tackle,
defensive tackle with Franklin Myers and Simmons, yes.
Might be the best tandem in the league.
Right. But I think you look around, you say the roster has improved. There aren't that many glaring holes except for the interior of the offensive line.
Center and guard.
You cut Lloyd Cushenberry. You haven't brought back Kevin Zeitler yet.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that there's another move coming there, or do you think they're saying, Slater, is it Sloatman? I think we agreed on
Sloatman or Sloatman?
Sloatman and Volson. Like, is it, hey, those 3 guys are going to play 2 of the spots there? I'm not sure how good I feel about that, putting it in front of your second-year quarterback.
What's the money? Pull up on your magic box there. What's the money for the Sloatman deal?
Let's see.
I know he's a Giant. I know he started. He's a veteran. I think he's played 6 years.
So he's 31 years old.
Yeah,
it's a 2-year deal. This year he will be. His cap hit is $3 million. Next year, he has $4 million cap hit, but the dead cap is only $500,000.
Okay, that doesn't scream starter to me.
It doesn't. But this is a guy who was with Carmen Brasillo. He was with Brian Dable last year in New York. Maybe they saw something that they think he can be a starter.
Well, yeah. Look, if he's on your team, you got to be prepared to play him. And so it's like Corey Levin.
Is he Corey Levin?
Yeah, because we were always like, hey, if Corey Levin has to play, it's not terrible. By the way, he's an Atlanta Falcon now.
Yes, with Bill Callahan.
And so we'll see. Do they want him to battle with Jackson Slater for that spot?
Yeah,
that's possible. I just, with $59 million at least in cap space, I think that number is actually closer to 70 because not all the contracts are through yet. I don't understand not going in and bringing. And maybe all the guys they wanted, they got priced out on. That's possible.
Yeah. Linderbaum going for $27 million a year.
I'm not spending that on a center. I'm spending that on a playmaker. Whether it be edge or corner or wide receiver or whatever. But you would think you would have had. You got some cap space to bring in somebody to snap the ball. So I don't. And who's the guy from the Raiders? The Memphis kid.
Parham.
Yeah, he just got like 2 or 3 years at like $10 million a year.
Yeah,
I would have felt better about that.
I think what this shows you is that they believe Jackson Slater is a starter somewhere this year. I don't know where that is. They have. I'm sure Mike Borgonzi and Robert Saleh might have something to say about that. They haven't spoken since free agency at this point. So with Jackson Slater, I think by not bringing in 2 bona fide starters at center and right guard, you look and you say, all right, Jackson Slater is going to be a starter somewhere. My question is or do you believe Volson or Slotman is going to be a starter at the other spot? Volson has started 48 games in his career. He did not play at all last year.
Yeah, he was hurt.
Slotman played, I want to say 4 or 5 games.
He started the last
he
5.
was basically core 11 for the Giants last year. So I think this shows you they believe in Slater to be a starter.
Mm.
Which one of those guys do they view as a starter this year?
I don't know. And I think maybe they don't know either. They're just planning on throwing numbers at it and saying one of these guys will emerge. That would be my guess.
Yeah.
Like I agree with you. They like Slater. And I think that there's hope there that he becomes a starter for this team, whether it be at center or guard. I'm hoping, because he's a massive Star Wars fan, and he's somebody I can talk Star Wars with in the locker room. He's a good kid, though. He's a big, strong kid and a good kid.
Yep.
Coming from Sacramento State, you wanted to take your time getting him up on the competition.
Right.
Glad to see him get to play the last game.
Yeah.
I would like to have seen him get to play more the end of the season than he got to. But they took their time with him. And I think it largely paid off, because he came into that game, and I know the offense was horrible that day, but you didn't see him just getting punked around on the field by what was a pretty good Jacksonville defense.
For sure.
So, I look at it as a competition, because there's nobody whose money is there, pencils them in as a starter. But also with the cap space they've got left, Zeitler, Wyatt Teller.
Teller's gone.
Oh, Tyler's gone. Okay.
He signed with the Texans yesterday.
Okay. Well, all right. So there are a couple other guys that I think are possible, but maybe this is where they want to roll, and that's what they get paid to do. You got a second-year quarterback that you really need to protect, and so that's kind of a gamble, in my opinion. If that's the threesome that you want to go into the season with, that's a gamble, in my opinion.
I agree with you. I think that I expected them to do more, considering you want to protect Cam Ward.
Yeah.
And especially because I think that leaving the season, that's probably the best you felt about the Titans offensive line in 4 years.
What if they bring Zeitler back, and it's those 3 guys basically battling to start at center and then back up, and then the other 2 back up?
Yeah, it's possible. I think Volson I expect to be a backup. I think they have to add somebody else at guard. And Zeitler is the one that stands out. He was here last year. PK reported that they would like to bring him back, but it's strange that it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
Especially since the reporting is that he does want to play. Like, that could be a question is he contemplating retirement?
What? I mean, of course he is. He's 15 years in.
But if the reporting is that he wants to play this year.
Yeah. Well, but who does he want to play for?
Right. And maybe it's not for you if it's taking this.
Well, maybe he wants to know if the Seahawks or the Rams or the Ravens or, one of those teams wants him, and he's got a real chance to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The guys do hunt rings at the end of their career.
He could just be waiting out the market, seeing if somebody else needs a guard.
And he might be waiting out the market to see what the money is. If the Titans offer is $6 million, what did he make, 7 last year?
9.
Okay. So if the Titans offer is 7, because it's not going to go up, he's older.
Yeah.
Maybe he's, waiting to see if he's willing to gamble to see if it's more, or maybe he just doesn't want to do spring football this year.
That is true.
It could be.
We've seen that before.
Yeah. He might be. I mean, shoot, he's got like 900 kids, and maybe he's like, I'm going to spend this spring with those guys, do my workouts, and then I'll see you at training camp.
Right. That is a good point. Maybe he just wants to wait it out, but you'd like to have an answer on right guard sooner rather than later, because right now you look at the Titans offensive line, Peter Skoronski's the only one out there with at least no question marks. I have no questions about Peter Skoronski being a good player next year.
Well, I guess before you cut Lloyd Cushenberry, you would like to have seen a better answer than this.
Yes. When they cut Lloyd Cushenberry, I think the expectation was they feel like they can upgrade there.
Yes.
Right? Like that's
and now they're not upgrading.
Right.
They're downgrading, is the estimation.
That's the big question is, did they get priced out on guys that they thought would be an upgrade, or was this the plan all along? Are they going to add a rookie? Like, is that their plan? Is that, hey, we've got the 101st pick. There are going to be good centers there. Let's take one and add him to the mix. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't understand how Parham at 10 million you got priced out on, but
Or Mays, who I think was 8 to 9 million.
Where did he go?
No, he was coming from Carolina.
Atlanta?
Where did he end up?
I don't know. I know. By the way, I just saw that former NBA star Ty Chandler and Tennessee Vol signed with the Saints.
Yes. Cooper Mays. Where did he sign?
Oh, gosh, AJ Epinesa still a free agent?
Yeah.
God, the Titans could get him. Big edge.
I thought that would be a good move for them, and it kind of gives you a little bit of a change from Martin, who you just brought in.
Yeah.
So
he's a bigger guy. He's physical.
We will see. Cooper Mays again. I don't know why it's so difficult to find where a guy signed. He literally just signed a week ago.
David Njoku still on the board. There's a lot of talk for him with the Titans.
He just visited the Ravens yesterday. Okay. 615-737-1025. We'll keep the conversation going when we come back. Again, all of our football offseason coverage is brought to you by Tennessee Brewworks. Raise a glass with Tennessee Brewworks, proud partner and official craft beer of the football offseason coverage on ESPN 1025 The Game. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Parker Kelly with you. Talking about the Titans' offensive line. Are there more moves to come at center and right guard? And I was mixing up my Mays brothers, the former Tennessee Vols. Cade Mays signed with the Lions, not Cooper Mays. So Cade Mays to the Lions, but that was 3 years, $25 million. That's not too expensive.
No, it's
if
not
the
horrible.
Titans wanted to go make a deal like that. So the Titans right now, it's Sloatman, Slater, Volson for those two spots. And I would feel a lot better if they added a veteran. Or do you think that the Titans are planning to spend a pick at interior offensive line? You've shored up cornerback enough that it's not desperate. I think you've shored up wide receiver that it's not desperate. I think you might have shored up edge enough that it's not desperate. You need players at those spots, and I still would use high picks at edge and wide receiver, but I think you've given yourself the flexibility if you want to go take a young center who you think can be your guy for the next 4 to 5 years. I think you can do that at 66 or 101, wherever it may be.
Well, Julian Minnesota, who works with me at News 2, has pounded the table with me that he thinks the Slaughter kid from Florida was the best center in the SEC and one of the best centers in the country.
Yeah.
And I think he feels like if they could get him in those middle rounds, that he could come in and compete for those jobs.
Yeah.
And he has studied Slaughter more than I have. And so I will, wane to his estimation of that. And so, but the question is, I guess, you've got those three other guys as kind of insurance if he's not ready, if that's what you're choosing to do.
Right.
Because that's the thing is like those interior linemen, they slide in the draft, because they're not considered valuable positions like the edge positions. And so, you probably can get him. I mean, certainly round 3, but probably round 4.
And we had the conversation of trading Will Levis. Do you move from 101 and package Will Levis to get back into the 3rd round? Maybe that's a move to go get a guy like Jake Slaughter. I would love it if they brought him in, and it would at least make me feel better if you went into camp and if it's a competition, which isn't great, you'd rather have a solidified 5. But if it's a competition and it's Slaughter and Sloatman for center and then Slater and Volson for right guard, I think you feel better about that than you do with right now where it's like, man, you got 3 guys for 2 spots and none of them give you all that much confidence.
Well, I mean, a 3rd or a 4th at the center position is a relatively high pick.
Yes. Yeah.
And so that you are upgrading the talent at that position. At least projectively, you're upgrading. If you get the pick right, you have upgraded the talent over what you've got there.
Right.
And so yeah, I mean, I'm more down with that than the 3 that they've got. And again, look, it could be Sloatman and Slater, and
that's it.
It could be great.
Yeah.
We could be like, wow, these guys are great. But just on paper, you'd like more paper.
Yes. I think you, in your head, if you want to be optimistic about it, you could say Gable and Brasillo worked closely with Sloatman. Clearly, they see something there to bring him in.
But again, the Giants were terrible.
Yes.
They were terrible.
Right. But bad teams have good players. And
yes, they do.
But he also wasn't starting on a bad team, which makes you that makes me question it a little bit. I am not optimistic about the interior of the offensive line right now. I think they need to add one more piece that they think can be a starter, whether that's bringing back Zeitler or adding a draft pick.
Look,
I don't think you can go into camp with those 3 guys.
I'd like to bring back Zeitler and draft Slaughter.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be great.
And then have those other 3 guys battle it out for spots on the roster. That's what because you look, for the money that Volson's getting, you can cut him.
He's getting $2.5 million.
You can cut him.
Yep.
Not say, hey, you should cut Volson. No, but you can.
Yeah.
You can. You've also got the cap space, to where, okay, we did better. I mean, you can do better. And so I would, that's what I would like to see.
And after the Ridley adjustment, which came in this morning, $67 million for the Titans in cap space, there are some deals that still haven't come down. I think 4 or 5, like Kylan Grayson or Granson.
Yeah. Is Jake Martin in there yet?
I don't.
That was and the Tony Adams.
Tony Adams is not in. I think Martin might have come in.
Okay. So Martin's the bigger one. So So if it's Adams and what's it, Grigson?
Granson?
Kyle Granson. Those deals won't be very much.
Right.
So that was a significant savings they got from Ridley. Do you have the numbers on the Ridley contract?
Yes.
Because I know PK reported about an 11 million savings, but he said there was cash savings as well. And I was wondering how much of a haircut he took on that, actually, because 99% of the times when you talk about a restructure, it's just turning base salary into bonus.
Right.
And the players aren't the heroes that they were made out to be.
They're
like, hell yeah, I'll do that.
Right. It's, hey, instead of getting $10 million throughout the year, we're going to give you $10 million right now. And they're like, yeah, do that.
I'm going to roll that into a CD and make even more.
We will go through Calvin Ridley's restructure deal, which again did come in this morning, and go through the decision there and what it does for the Titans wide receiver room when we come back and wrap up hour number 1. Lots of Titans talk early in the show today. We will talk college basketball as the NCAA tournament is officially underway. A couple of really good games in the first 4 last night. And also the Preds getting a shootout win in Winnipeg. All of that coming up throughout the show. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Right Time HVAC and Cromwell Media are teaming up to bring comfort back to your home. Is your heating system struggling or completely out of commission following the winter storms? Or do you need a fix to get you ready for summer? You can nominate yourself for the Right Time Home Rescue and tell us your story. Enter today at thegamenashville.com/HVAC, and you could win a new HVAC system installed by Right Time HVAC. Locally owned and operated, there's never a wrong time to call Right Time. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Parker Kelly with you, wrapping up the first hour on this Wednesday. Talking Titans, and Calvin Ridley's restructured deal has come in. He is now making $5 million in a signing bonus this year and $5.5 million in base salary. So
that's not much against the cap.
He took about I think an $8 million pay cut
in cash
to stay with the Titans. His cap hit is now $15 million. That's $11 million down.
Yeah, it's exactly
from where it
what
was.
PK said, $11 million difference. But yeah, to see a player actually take a cash pay cut, his agent had to feel like
the market's not great for him if he gets cut.
Well, I mean, you know who's still out there?
Juwan Jennings.
Exactly, because he can't get the $20 million he wants. And so, Calvin's 32 years old.
Yeah.
And I think his agent probably said, you're probably looking at being, signed going into camp.
Right. And you're 32. You're coming off an injury plague, bad season.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
were
broke
inconsistent.
Your leg. Yeah.
It was a broken leg or ankle.
It was lower leg. I don't know if it was ankle leg, but
Okay.
But that it was not a good year. Your market value isn't exactly at its peak right now for Calvin Ridley.
No.
And you get to stick around with Cam Ward.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's not going to be relied upon to be wide receiver one.
Well, he's not wide receiver one.
Right. Well, Wan'Dale Robinson is going.
They don't have one.
Right now they don't have one. Wan'Dale Robinson is probably the guy they will rely on most out of the guys currently on the roster.
Yeah.
But I think this is a good move for the Titans. You don't create an unnecessary hole.
Mm-hmm.
You now look at your top 5 wide receivers, and
it's a 1-year deal too.
Right. You can get out $7.5 million in dead cap next year, but it's a $29.75 million cap hit. So he will be cut after this season.
Okay.
You save $22 million against the cap by getting rid of him. But you now look and you've got Ridley, Robinson, DK, Iamaner, Oliver. That's probably the 5 that you look and you say, they're on the roster as it stands right now. Things can change. So you keep Ridley. You don't create an unnecessary hole. But Calvin Ridley also doesn't stop you from going out and drafting a wide receiver high who you hope can develop into a wide receiver one for you in the future.
So instead of Ridley, Iamaner, DK, both rookies, and Van Jefferson, now you've got Ridley, DK, Iamaner in year 2,
right,
and Wan'Dale Robinson. And I mean, it's
an upgrade.
That is an upgrade.
Yeah.
That is an upgrade. Now you don't have Chig anymore, and he was always good for 50 catches.
Yep.
I know that Gunner closed in on 50 catches. Did he get there? So I would feel fairly certain that Gunner, outside of them adding somebody at the last minute at tight end, I would feel fairly certain that Gunner would catch 50 balls this year.
He had 44 last year.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Gunner catch 50 this year. But, Robinson's probably going to catch the most balls. I mean,
yeah, I don't think it'll be 90 like the last 2 years, but yes, I would agree. He probably will catch the most passes.
But a 1 dominates the game.
Yes.
Volume doesn't mean dominates the game.
Right.
What AJ did for a few years was a 1. He dominated games. And so, they have to hope that one of these young guys can develop. I don't think there's a feeling that either one of them will be a true 1. But we'll see. And then do they draft another one this year? I mean, they certainly could. But it depends. You want to be in a position to draft best player. And with what they've done in free agency, they have more leeway to do that.
I agree with that. I think you look at what the Titans did at their 3 main positions of need. You looked before they made all the moves. Edge was empty.
Well, so was corner.
Corner was empty.
Yeah.
Wide receiver was just the young guys in there with Calvin Ridley's fate up in the air.
Yes.
So you looked at those 3 positions and said, you need to sign one and you probably need to draft one early.
Mm-hmm.
By signing 2 cornerbacks, you've made that
3.
3, yes, but 2 starting cornerbacks.
Yeah.
You've made that hole much less desperate. At edge, the trade to send Tavondre Sweat away, you get Jermaine Johnson, and then you replace Sweat with John Franklin Myers. That makes you feel a whole lot better about the defensive front.
Yep.
Jacob Martin, I think, is not quite a starting level guy.
No.
I think he's a rotational guy, but you've got him, you've got Femi, you've got Harrell, and you probably draft one. Wide receiver, you keep Ridley, you sign Robinson, and you probably draft one. But you also look at it and you say, if we don't draft an edge rusher early, or we don't draft a wide receiver early, are we completely screwed?
Yeah.
And I don't think you are now. You're probably not in a great spot, but it's not like, man, we're going to be running out practice squad players at wide receiver this year.
Listen, maybe next year's the year they go edge. I mean, maybe next year's the year they go offensive tackle again. I mean, that's
which you probably have to,
but it's possible.
Yeah.
And so, there's possibilities but the bottom line, they got to hit on some of these guys,
Right. That's more of what it is, it's now less about the position and it's more about, can you go find young, I don't want to say star, but young cornerstone players for your team, guys who are going to help build this team back into a contender.
And look, you can look at last year's guys and you can debate just how good they were. Some people would say, well, were they really that good? You went 3-14.
Right.
And look, Chim was a playmaker.
Yeah.
You cannot dispute that. Does he have room to grow at wide receiver? Yes, he does. But did he still make plays in the passing game when they actually let him run pass routes?
Yeah.
He became he became much more productive once he started running down the field instead of stepping backwards at the line of scrimmage.
What he had more yards after catch than he did total yards at one point early in the season.
It was infuriating. Iamaner's got to grow. He's got to be more consistent catching the football.
He showed some flashes at the end of the year. Like you saw it early and you were like, oh man, maybe they got a steal. Then he hit the wall.
Yeah. He admitted he hit the wall.
We were talking about Matthew Wood during the break there, and we'll talk Preds later. It's not quite as drastic as Matthew Wood, who was guns a-blazing to start, then hit the wall and has come back and just completely turned it on again.
Yeah, he's even better than he was early.
Right. Like Iamaner hasn't been that, but you did see him start to figure it out at the end of the year.
I think everybody in the passing game got better once they started running the football. That's not a mystery, by the way. That's not, okay? That helps everybody out there. But, those guys all showed they can play at this level, I guess is the point I'm making.
Yeah.
You can put those guys on the field and not be like, oh.
Right.
Hey, Mason Kinsey's back. No, they're not that.
Yeah.
And Harris played, and you're debating now whether Harris can be a starter or not. He's certainly on your team, but is he a starter or not? So you're wondering with Slater, is he a starter or not?
Yeah.
Which that's a good thing to wonder
for a 5th or 6th round pick. That's kind of what you're looking for.
Yes. And so if you end up hitting on those, suddenly this draft looks tremendous.
Right.
Tremendous. But we'll have to wait and see. And, Femi is still a huge, huge question mark. I heard them talking about him on the last show. He's got a lot to prove.
It feels like this coaching staff has high hopes for Femi, but just based on what they've said about him and Robert Saleh saying, hey, we scouted him as a 4-3 defensive end.
He's huge.
He's a big man.
He's huge. He's, like you stick your thumb in your mouth and you blow yourself up. That's Femi. He's big.
Yes.
And so, and he's athletic. But that, he's got to make some plays.
Yeah.
Got to make some plays.
I was not a fan of the Femi pick when they made it.
No.
But I see what they saw in him. And you hope that this year, if he can stay healthy, you start to see the production from Femi Oladejo.
And you got Winston with that pick. I think that's the other thing. Because every time I sit here and say, oh, you could have had Omen Wari,
right,
who's really good.
And probably will be better than Winston. The question is going to be, is Femi, does he make up that gap?
Yeah. Do you get 2 starters instead of
one?
Yeah.
Right.
And right now the answer is no. But that's a short sample. I mean, you saw him half
Yeah.
of a season.
Both those guys, I think, played 6 or 7 games total.
Yeah. And so they need to play a lot more, and they need to be a lot more productive. I mean, I think of the two, you're more inspired by what you saw from Winston.
Yeah. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. The Titans gearing up for the draft. It is just over a month away, and everybody is on the love train now. Yesterday, a bunch of mock drafts came out, and
welcome to the party, pal.
There is so much less division about the Titans pick now. It's all Jeremiah Love. We'll talk about it coming up next. 615-737-1025. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Parker Kelly. Next man up, 1025 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Second hour on this Wednesday. Jake Lyman, joined by Corey Curtis from News 2, live in studio. Parker Kelly at the controls. We are broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Talking a lot of Titans early on in the show. And yesterday, a bunch of mock drafts drop. There are days throughout the spring where everybody drops their latest update to their mock draft. Yesterday, we saw Daniel Jeremiah. We saw Mel Kiper. And there was a similarity among all of them, at least the ones I saw. Jeremiah Love as the 4th overall pick to the Tennessee Titans. And that's a thought that has been growing in Titans fans' minds in Nashville and now nationally over the last month or so, that Jeremiah Love could be the pick at number 4. And honestly, with what they've done in free agency, I think they can afford to do it at this point. If they think he's the best player in the draft, I think you can pass up on some of the guys who play more valuable positions to take a guy that you think can be a playmaker and help out your young quarterback.
Well, I think the other thing is, Jake, do you think he's the best player in the draft?
Right. And that's what we've heard from a lot of people, is that the Titans do believe that.
Well, and they're not alone. I mean, there are other people, there are other experts that say he's the best player in the draft. And if he's the best player in the draft and you're drafting 4 and he's on the board, I don't think there's much question that you take him. I mean, if you can get the best player in the draft at 4, you take him. You picked 1 last year, you got the quarterback. Number 4 next year, and you got the best player in the draft. And by the way, your only Super Bowl team was built on 9 and 27.
Yeah.
Quarterback, running back. You can get there again. You know, the Eagles were built on Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley when they won the Super Bowl, and a really good defense. And so, you know, you can get there, you know, especially with a guy who's a 3-down guy, who's a weapon in the run game and in the passing game. So I think it makes a lot of sense. And like you said, looking at what they did in free agency, you're like, okay, they've really loaded up at a lot of these spots where you thought they might have to take somebody. The only question I've got is it out there so much because they want it to be?
Right.
And then, you know, do they want someone to trade up to 3 or 2 so that Reese or Bailey drop to them at 4?
Yeah.
That would be the only question that I got.
And I think it's fair. It's lying season. So there are smoke screens all over the place. And you could be right. The Titans could be saying, hey, we're
going to take him.
We're going to take him. We're going to take him. If somebody doesn't trade up, he's going to be ours. Somebody come and trade up. And it could just be that they really want Bailey or Reese to get to them at 4.
Yeah.
And most mock drafts, I think, now have Bailey or Reese going 2 to the Jets. The other one goes 3 to the Cardinals. There's still a scenario where the Cardinals maybe go offensive line. There is a scenario that one of those teams takes a quarterback and Ty Simpson. I think it's unlikely, but I think it's possible.
Yeah.
So maybe you end up having the choice between Bailey and Love or Reese and Love. And I'd be very interested if 2 of those players are on the board on draft night. That's going to be a very tense 10 minutes for Titans fans, not knowing what Mike Borgonzi is going to do.
Let me put this out there as well. Maybe it's the Jets and the Cardinals screaming to everybody, the Titans are taking Love at 4.
Right.
Because they want
somebody to trade up.
And people are like, well, why do those teams want to trade out? Because they want to draft a quarterback next year. That's why those teams would want to trade out to 2 and 3, because they want to load up for next year when they're going to be a new set of quarterbacks in the draft, because they both need one.
I'm going to guess it's the Cardinals, because the Jets already have 3 first-round picks next year.
Yeah, they might want 4. You know, their hit ratio isn't great.
That's true. They could use as many throws at the dartboard as they can.
You know, Quentin Williams was pretty good, and Sauce Gardner was pretty good.
Garrett Wilson
was pretty good. I mean, the Breece Hall was pretty good. He wasn't a first-round pick, but
it just shows you they can't figure out quarterback.
Yeah.
And
when you can figure out all the other spots, if you don't have a slinger, you're done. And so so you know, that's a possibility as well. That, you know,
the way I look at this is, and I've been asking the question to myself of, is this real or is it a smokescreen? And I'm leaning towards it being real, that the Titans actually want Jeremiah Love at 4, and that it might be one of the worst kept secrets in the NFL. Because look at what the other teams that are rumored to want Jeremiah Love have done.
Yeah.
Cardinals in front of the Titans. There was thoughts, oh, is he going to get to 4 if the Cardinals won? Well, they signed Tyler Algier. They re-signed James Conner.
Yep.
And I think they brought in Bam Knight too. They re-signed him. So they made moves for 3 running backs in the last.
All worse than Jeremiah Love.
Yes, all worse. But I think it kind of shows you that they're like, all right, we're going to solidify our running back.
Did you listen to the Cardinal offense with Marvin Harrison and Mike
Trey
Wilson
McBride
and Trey McBride and
Jeremiah
Love
with Gardner Minshew slinging the rock.
Yeah, but I mean, look, you've got it set up.
No, I know.
You've got it set up for next year if you can bring in a quarterback.
And they very well still could take Jeremiah Love.
I mean, I like that a lot.
I could see it. Obviously, none of those guys that I just named preclude you from taking Jeremiah Love. Like James Conner and Tyler Algier should not stop you from taking Jeremiah Love.
I agree with that.
But I think you look at what the Cardinals are doing, and it's telling you that they're not going to take a running back in 3. The teams that are behind the Titans that you thought, man, if he gets to them, they're probably going to run the card in.
Yeah, Saints and Chiefs.
Saints signed Travis Etienne.
Yeah.
Want to make sure I get it right. The Chiefs signed Kenneth Walker. The Commanders, who that was the big one, is like, oh, if he gets to 7, he's a Commander. They just signed Rashad White. They signed Jerome Ford, and they re-signed the McWeapon. So
you know what they got at running back? A lot of mediocre.
They do, and they have Bill still there, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. So it's telling you that they are preparing for Jeremiah Love not to be there at 7.
You know, somebody's going to be really excited to get Tony Pollard for like free when this is over.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think they're going to cut him. Maybe it's a post-June 1st cut.
I think somebody will trade for him.
If they draft Love. I think that's the reason Pollard hasn't been cut, is because there's no guarantees until you turn the card in. There's no guarantees. So you'd rather not create the hole, have somebody jump you for Jeremiah Love, and then you're like, all right, well, Tajay Spears, get ready to learn being a 3-down back. Or Kalel Mullings or Julius Chestnut, who was re-signed yesterday.
That's right.
But I think that this is real. I think if Jeremiah Love is there at 4, I think the Titans are going to take him.
I do too. I mean, just because, like I said, he's the best player on the board. I mean, and I know Joe was talking about he doesn't think he's Saquon or Bijan. I kind of do.
I think he might be.
I do.
I like that.
Those guys didn't split carries.
Exactly. And that's what I was going to say too, is not only could he be that caliber of player, but he doesn't have the same tread that's been taken off on those guys.
He hasn't. I mean, he's 20 years old.
Like, think of Ashton Genty last year.
Yeah.
Ashton Genty, they ran him into the ground at Boise State.
Do you remember Javon Ringer?
Yes, I do.
Okay. He was really good at Michigan State, but he had like 1,000 carries there. And when he came here, his legs fell apart because all the tread was gone by the time he got to the NFL. And so yeah, I mean, you're looking at Jeremiah Love at 20 years old and having split carries, by the way, with a guy who also might now go in the first round, apparently, in Jadarian Price.
Yeah.
Some mocks have him going at the end of the first. You know, I have a hard time seeing that, but you never know. But I mean, he put up monster numbers. And, you know, when you'd watch him, best player on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And so,
I mean, I won't say I watched every Notre Dame game last year, but the Pitt game I remember specifically tuning in for because Vandy was rooting against Notre Dame to try and get in. And so I was watching that game trying to see if Pitt could win. And Jeremiah Love hit that spin move and just did not slow down a second. He was gone. And I was like, all right, well, this game's over.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see Ashton Genty, how many touches he had. Okay.
For Boise?
Yeah. So in his final season, let's just do total touches for these guys.
Okay. So he played 13 games.
For the career in college, how many touches do you think?
How many
Ashton
years
Genty,
was
he played 3 years.
3 years. Oh, I'm gonna guess this is passes and receptions. I mean,
yes,
rushes.
Total touches.
Okay, I'm gonna guess 1,150.
No, not quite that much. 830 touches over 3 years. So he averaged close to 300 touches a year.
Well, I was going for like 350.
His final season, he had 400 touches.
See, but I was going for like 350 a year, so that wasn't crazy.
So he had 156 carries his first year, 220 his second year, 374 carries, not including receptions.
And they still couldn't stop him.
Right, and he was great. He averaged 7 yards a carry. Jeremiah Love averaged 6.9 yards per carry each of the last 2 years. He had a total of 496 touches in 3 years.
Half.
So half of the touches. I think that's something that has to factor in here too, is I think they're similar quality of player, but one of them is going to be a whole lot fresher coming into the NFL than the other.
One of them also played on grass and the other one played on turf, which is, I look at that as beneficial as well.
And also, Ashton Genty proved that he could do it against elite competition too. But Jeremiah Love was playing a whole lot better teams on a regular basis than Ashton Genty was.
I was going to bring that up, but everybody say, "Oh, Notre Dame doesn't play anybody," which is not true. But yes,
let's see Bijan Robinson, because I want to know kind of where he would rank in that. So Bijan had 600 total touches, so he had 100 more than Jeremiah Love did in college. He averaged 6.1 yards per carry, although he was a little bit better in the receiving game. Yeah, so he was better in the receiving game. He had 314 yards.
Playing in the Southeastern Conference.
Right, in the SEC. Yeah. But he had also 100 more carries. So I think that's why you look at Jeremiah Love and you say, this is a fresh, young, talented player who can immediately come in and be a safety valve for Cam Ward as well.
And like, if he's as good as Jahmyr Gibbs, it's worth it.
Yeah.
But bigger and faster than Jahmyr Gibbs.
I think they ran the same 40 time, but Jeremiah Love is like 30 pounds heavier or something like that.
No.
Not quite that much.
Like 10 or 15.
Yeah. So
I think Gibbs is very like Walter Payton size-esque.
Yeah. Jahmyr Gibbs,
like 5'10".
We're doing a lot of looking up this morning.
That's okay. We're getting smarter.
5'11". Jahmyr Gibbs. I want to see his weight too, though.
205 is my guess.
202.
Yeah, that's very Walter Payton.
Jeremiah Love is 6 foot 214. So yeah, about 15 pounds heavier, but he's a couple inches taller. So Jeremiah Love, I'm starting to lean towards it being real. I think that's what the Titans will do it for.
There's no reason for it not to be real.
Right. I mean, it could be a smoke screen. You could want somebody to trade up, but like
I said, there's no reason to doubt that they could take him at 4.
Right. Yes, I agree with that. They definitely could. No one should be doubting that they could take him.
You don't go, oh, they couldn't do that. Court, they couldn't do that. Yeah, they couldn't do that. He's the best player in the freaking board.
Yeah. And I heard Adam Vingan say this yesterday, and I've been saying this for a couple weeks too. I think there's one player who's been mocked to the Titans that I think they can't take it for.
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Ruben Bain.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about Mansour.
Oh, yeah, not him. I did see that. Yeah, Mansour Delane too. Please no. But Ruben Bain, I don't think you can take him at 4 anymore.
Well, I don't know if you can or you can't. And they're both great players, by the way.
Right.
Both great players, but I don't. There are bigger impact guys you could get it for is my point.
Well, yeah, and Trevor Maddich was on with DVD yesterday, and he said basically what we've been saying the whole time is if you take Ruben Bain at 4, you are betting on him to be the outlier of all outliers.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if you can risk it like that when you have Jeremiah Love, who seems to be a guy who, put him in the lineup, he's going to be a surefire Pro Bowl level player.
They don't have a lot on offense that's explosive, awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to call Wan'Dale Robinson is not a possession receiver, but he's a chain mover.
Yes.
That's what he is. He's a chain mover.
Yep.
Calvin Ridley's on the downtrend. Chim is on the upswing, but you don't know where his ceiling is yet.
Right. That's a good point.
Where you bring in Jeremiah Love, you have a game-changing running back who can do a lot of different. By the way, I doubt they'll do it, but could you imagine kickoff return with Jeremiah next to Chim?
Yeah, just put them both back there and say
that'd be an upgrade over
who are you kicking it away from?
Over Julius or Tajay.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
I mean,
I don't know if you want to do that with Jeremiah Love, but like
in the old school of kickoff return, I would not. But in this
new
school where you don't get a
running start,
I'd be more tempted to,
for sure. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. We'll get to some of your texts about this situation. Everybody, and I mean everybody, is mocking Jeremiah Love to the Titans. And it looks like with
except for the guy who has Mansour.
yes, Lance Zierlein.
Yeah.
We've been it's actually up there right now.
Okay.
Lance Zierlein on NFL Network, his mock draft was scrolling through the bottom line, and it was Mansour Delane, fourth overall.
He's also got Keldrick Falk ahead of Mekhi Lemon. I do not see that, but these guys are experts, so
They are. 615-737-1025. We'll get to your text coming up next. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Come play hooky with 102.5 The Game tomorrow at Jelly Roll's Goodnight Nashville and on Friday at Boom Ba's in East Nashville from noon to 6. Watch the basketball games with us. Enjoy great food, handcrafted beverages, and win prizes. NCAA tournament coverage on 102.5 The Game is presented by Maple Street Biscuit Company and Nelson's Greenbrier Distillery. We will talk about the NCAA tournament coming up next. But wrapping up our Titans conversation, the Jeremiah Love discourse has gone from Titans really like him, maybe they could take him at 4, to everybody except for Lance Zierlein picking Jeremiah Love to be a Tennessee Titan. And I think I'm behind it. You take Love at 4. I do think you have to go edge at 35. Like I think that's the one position I look at. Wide receiver 2.
But you can't reach, Jake. You can't reach.
Yeah.
Look, if there is a better corner, if Colton Hood is on the board and he's better than all those edges that are there, you got to take him.
I know. I'm just so tired of the Titans neglecting edge.
I am too.
I get what you're saying is that you can't reach down the board just because you feel like you need an edge.
Because look, the Titans have won 6 games in 2 years. They need good football players.
Yeah.
And they need good young football players that they can build this football team with. All right. And so, I'm about taking the best players on the board. All right. I know everybody wants to go to the playoffs next year. I'd love to see them go to the playoffs next year. I'm more interested in seeing them build a quality football team that can stand the test of time. Yeah. That's what I want to see. I'm much more interested in seeing them move into that new stadium with the foundation of a team. You're like, wow, the next 8 years we're gonna be trouble.
Yeah, and you are right. And that's why Jeremiah.
Wait, let's clip that, Parker.
You're right. Corey Curtis is correct. And that's why I've gotten behind Jeremiah Love. I've said this 100 times.
Yeah.
In a vacuum, I'm not a fan of taking a running back at 4.
Absolutely.
But
I agree.
I think
you're right, Jake.
Clip that, Parker. But in this situation with the players in this draft class and the position your roster is in, I think it makes sense to take Jeremiah Love at 4.
Well, I think with how good he is, the opportunity to actually get him and where you are, yeah.
And the red flags around the pass rushers. Like if you went into this draft and like it was Myles Garrett and Aiden Hutchinson, and you had 2 of those guys on the board, and one of them fell to you.
They're going second.
You take right. They may not be there, but like if there was that caliber of pass rusher in this draft class, you take him over Jeremiah Love.
Yeah.
But there's like David Bailey has concerns. He's got the production, he's got the size, but the change of direction, the bend around the edge, he's not great at that. With Arvell Reese, you question, is he really going to be able to make the transition to the edge?
Is he an outside linebacker or is he an edge?
Right.
He says he's an outside linebacker who can
rush
the passer. So I'm with you. It's the same with Sonny Styles, who's a mutant of a human being.
Right.
And I totally
he's going to be a good player, I think.
But at what position?
Yes.
And how much of an impact?
And with Arvell Reese, it's like you justifying the pick of, well, Micah Parsons did it. Mm-hmm. Like, I just think that I think I'd take Jeremiah Love over Arvell Reese. It would be really close, but I think I'd take Love. And then with Ruben Bain, of course, the short arms, we've had the conversation about that.
I love Ruben Bain. I don't care about the short arms. I do love Ruben Bain. I again,
just not at 4.
At a 4, it's a discussion for sure.
Yeah.
But, I think I'm taking Jeremiah Love over all of them.
I think I would take Bailey over Love.
Yeah. I mean, look, you don't have to justify it.
Right. I think Bailey over Love. If Bailey's there at 4, I don't know how that. I guess Jets would go Reese at 2, and then Cardinals go O-line or something like that. If it's Bailey versus Love, I think I'm taking Bailey. I think the concerns with the bend are the easiest to handle red flag among the pass rushers this year, but he's a productive player. He had 14.5 sacks last year. He fits the build you want on the edge. Mm-hmm. I would go David Bailey.
He's more impressive in person, like physically, than I expected him to be. Like when I saw him walk to the podium, I was like, wow, I'm a dude's kind of jacked.
I think Bailey would be the pick at 4 if he's there. But if he's not, which I kind of don't expect him to be, I'm taking Jeremiah Love.
Yeah, I don't expect Bailey to be on the board either. 14 and a half sacks is a lot in college.
Yeah.
And in 1 year.
Right.
So I think someone will go for that. But the only question I've got is, does someone trade up ahead of them? That's to get Love.
That's it. Yeah.
That's,
and we won't know that until draft night.
And I don't see it.
Yeah. Especially with what we talked about of the teams that you would circle and say those teams might move up. They've kind of already made running back moves that it's like, are you going to trade multiple draft picks to move up to get Jeremiah Love?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
The Giants, I guess, could.
Yeah.
Because they don't have far to go.
Right. And it's like, I know they love Scattaboo up there, but Jeremiah Love's an upgrade over Cam Scattaboo.
Yeah, he is. And who's the other guy? They got Tyrone
Tracy.
Yeah, he is definitely better than Tyrone Tracy.
We have a couple people on the text line who have said trade for Devon Achane. First off, Adam Schefter came out today and said that's not good, that he's unavailable.
So he's the one guy they're keeping.
Yeah, apparently teams have called the Dolphins and they've said he's not available. I'm sure he is available at the right price.
Yeah, well, good for Miami because he is a hell of a player.
For me, I'd rather if you're gonna invest in a running back,
give me the 20-year-old.
Yeah, give me the younger Jeremiah Love, the cheaper Jeremiah Love, rather than Devon Achane, who you're gonna have to give up probably more draft capital for, and you're going to have to pay. So give me Love over Achane. 615-737-1025. Appreciate all the texts. If you'd like to join the conversation, you can text or call at 615-737-1025. Our phone and text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Let's talk basketball on the other side. We've got the NCAA tournament
about that.
underway.
It's underway.
The first four last night, 2 good games. Howard holding off UMBC. The Retrievers couldn't make another Cinderella run. And then Texas Onions from Tremont Mark to hit the not a buzzer beater. There was still a second
couple of
left on
big
the
buckets
clock.
late from him.
Yes, but 68-66 the win for Texas. We'll talk about those games, and we'll talk about Vanderbilt and Tennessee, the draws for those teams as they begin their tournament coming up on Thursday and Friday. 615-737-1025. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up. 102.5 The Game. Need a bracket to fill out for the NCAA tournament? You can head to theGameNashville.com/mayhem and print off your bracket today, presented by Toyota. Fuel your adrenaline at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. Also brought to you by Pizzona MD and Thompson Machinery. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Parker Kelly. It is that time of year. March Madness is upon us. The first four games last night. We'll get two more tonight, and excited for that. Two good games last night.
Texas and Howard.
Yes, moving on.
So Kendall Lanier, our new member of our News 2 sports team and granddaughter of Chiefs great Willie Lanier.
Yes.
She went to Howard, and both of their teams are in, the men and the women.
Yes.
And the men marched on last night. She's very excited.
The Bison.
So I was happy for her.
Are they the Bison or the Bisons like Lipscomb?
I don't know, but I will ask her today.
There you go.
She's actually with TSU. TSU is practicing right now.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to do interviews. And I you know what? They might be doing interviews right now because I think they're loading the bus up at 11 and heading out for St. Louis.
Yeah. They play Friday, I assume.
I wonder if they're busing all the way there or if they're flying. It's a 5-hour drive. You could bus it.
Yeah. I know for the women's tournament, like there is a certain limit on, like, they'll pay for a flight for you if you're outside of this area.
I didn't know they paid.
But that might be different. That might be different because of the host sites in women's basketball. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I know there's been an issue. I guess they had to warn teams that, like, there's a charter flight shortage right now. So they've been working on that. But anyway, yes, the Howard Bison holding off UMBC last night. 3 at the buzzer, did not go for the Retrievers, and Howard moves on.
Now Howard led
Michigan.
that game the whole way. They were the better team.
Yes, they were in control most of that game. UMBC made it close late. And then Texas and NC State, it was a little bit of a tough game to watch for a while there, but Texas.
That's why they're bubble teams.
Texas did pull it out, 68-66, hitting a 19-foot jumper with about 1 second on the clock. So Texas moves on. They will face BYU. They'll face AJ DeBonsa and BYU on Thursday. Coming up tonight, the first 4 game that is relevant to folks around here, Miami of Ohio and SMU. The winner gets Tennessee on Friday. So that'll be an interesting game. Miami of Ohio, they've been America's Cinderella all season long.
You're not a Cinderella at 30-0.
Well, they've been America's team, I guess. I think it's
baloney that they're in the playing game. It's baloney.
I can see it.
Look, Akron's a 12.
Yeah.
So Akron wins the tournament and is a 12. So Akron's right on the bubble.
They would have missed the tournament if they didn't make
but they are right on the bubble. They were close. They're 12.
Yeah.
They're right there.
Right.
So the undefeated team that lost once, they're only that much. And by the way, I've got Akron winning.
Against SMU tonight?
No, Akron winning their first round game.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yes, Akron, they play
Texas Tech.
Yes.
I got Akron. Give me Akron.
That's the 1-12-5 matchup that stands out to me. That because obviously when you're looking at upsets,
Akron's good.
12 versus 5 is where they typically happen, and I think Akron is the best matchup there.
My point is, if you think Akron is borderline tournament worthy, then Miami of Ohio at 30-1 or whatever they are is certainly not a play-in team.
Yeah.
In my estimation, I think that's thumbing your nose at them.
Well, they got SMU tonight. I would pick Miami of Ohio to win that game. I think I'll take Tennessee to win against Miami, Ohio.
Well, I mean, with Ament healthy, I mean, Tennessee should win that game. The one thing that concerns me is I think there's value to getting to play.
I agree with that. I would agree that the rust versus rest debate is always the question.
But you've played a tournament game.
Right.
There's so much anticipation.
You've gotten the butterflies out a little bit.
Hey, this is game 2 for us. Let's go.
Right.
We've already got to win. We got a win in our pocket. Let's go.
We have seen a lot of the play-in teams get through at least past the first round. A couple have made runs. Yeah, VCU.
Final Four,
it was
right?
Syracuse that went to the Final Four after being a play-in team a few years ago, I want to say, with Malachi Richardson at Syracuse a few years ago. But we've seen the play-in teams make runs. I just think Miami of Ohio, they're not known for their defense. They've given up 100 points a lot this year in the MAC. Like, I can only imagine what Tennessee, who they've struggled offensively at times, but with Ament and Gillespie, like I think
should win that
Tennessee's
game.
going to take care of business.
Well, I mean, SMU could win tonight too.
That's true.
I mean,
Yeah.
SMU came into the season. I mean, that was a quality win for Vanderbilt early in the season.
Yeah.
And they clocked them.
Right.
They clocked them good.
Right.
And so, it'd be interesting to see. I didn't make a pick on that game.
Yeah.
So I to me, it's a coin flip, and it should be. But we'll see. I mean, the tournament is
yeah.
a coin flip.
In general, that's why
By the way,
it's so difficult to predict.
Let me ask you an important question.
Yeah.
Are you a one sheet guy or a multi sheet guy?
So I have in the past been a multi-bracket guy.
Okay.
I would do one selection show happens and I'd just go gut feeling, go through.
So, because to me, you have to have if you're going to do multiple sheets, you have to declare a sheet of integrity.
Yes.
This is what I feel. These are my picks. The other one, I'm just hoping hits and I make some money. This is my sheet of integrity.
I agree with that. I think you have to always pick which one is your bracket. You can't wait until the results start coming in. You got to pick one. I have previously been one gut feel, one I will actually like dig into research, look at team sheets, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
This year I'm just doing one. I filled one out, just went gut feel all the way through, and we're going to see what happens.
What did you say, Parker?
That's the way to go.
Yeah.
Attaboy.
Sheet of integrity, right?
Yeah, just one go at it. Don't be like Connor Newt and fill out 3 or whatever.
Well, and it's tough because, especially with Vanderbilt, expected to make a run in the women's side. Like, you're a 2 seed. I'm not going to be paying attention nearly enough to oh man, this bracket's doing well. This one's not. Like, I'm just going to put one out there and we're going to see what happens.
Yep. I agree. All right.
615-737-1025. Talked about Tennessee's draw a little bit. They got Virginia looming in the round of 32.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Which again, I've said it before. That is my nightmare matchup right there. Tennessee, Virginia. God.
First to 50 wins.
Well, Ryan Odom isn't quite Tony Bennett with the pack
true.
line. So, but it is funny. I know somebody made a joke about this yesterday because of UMBC, but Ryan Odom was the coach at UMBC when they beat UVA. Now he's coaching UVA.
I remember when his dad coached. I was there when his dad took the job at South Carolina.
Yeah. And there was rumors he might have taken the Virginia Tech job before they gave it to Mike Young too. So, so Ryan Odom and Virginia, they would be the 3 seed for Tennessee. They've got to get through Wright State to get to that round of 32 game in Philadelphia. We'll talk Vanderbilt's draw on the other side. Were the Commodores underseeded? I think everybody can say probably.
I think everybody in America is saying yes.
But we can talk about the teams they're actually going to play moving through the tournament. 615-737-1025. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Parker Kelly. Next man up, 1025 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Parker Kelly. The NCAA tournament got going last night. First 2 games of the first 4 in Dayton. 2 more tonight. Also, the women's tournament opens up tonight with a couple of first 4 games. But we talked about Tennessee's draw. They've got the winner of tonight's first 4 game between Miami, Ohio, and SMU. And if they win that, likely Virginia to go to the Sweet 16. For Vanderbilt, I think they were one of the stories of Selection Sunday.
Yep.
The run they made in the SEC tournament, not just beating Florida on Saturday, they bullied Florida on Saturday.
Well, I mean, look, they beat Tennessee with Nate Ament.
Yes.
I mean, that's a good way. I mean, I don't think they got enough credit for winning both of those games.
Yep.
I mean, they didn't get blown out by Arkansas.
No.
That game went down to the wire.
The Razorbacks hit 65% of their threes, and that was enough to win the game.
I mean, A-Cuff's awesome. But so I thought Vanderbilt played really, really well.
Yeah.
And, you know, the national sentiment is the 5 seed was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Number one, are you telling me if they lost to Florida, they were a 6 seed? Because that's what you're telling me, because there's got to be some value to that victory.
Yeah, they were the top 5 for the committee.
Yeah.
But I look at it, and all of the metrics tell you they are a top 13 team in the country.
Well, I mean, there was talk by Joe Lunardi that they could be a 2 if they
beat Arkansas. Yeah.
And obviously that was not true, because Arkansas, by the way, Arkansas is a 4. You could argue they could have been a 3.
Yeah, I would agree with that. There was, I think the committee did a good job this year. I think they got the 68 teams right.
Yeah, Auburn wasn't in.
When you see that most of the bracketologists got all 68 teams, I think that tells you that they got it right with the teams that were in. But Vanderbilt was the most egregious seeding. But the conversation we were having during the break and that we've had all week is it's not about the number next to your name. It's about the matchups.
Well, and then also 4 and 5, you're playing. Okay, if you're 4, you're playing the 5 in round 2. If you're 5, you're playing the 4.
Yeah,
in round
it's
2.
about what color jerseys you're wearing.
So if Nebraska's the 5 and you're the 4, you're still playing each other.
Yeah.
So that really doesn't matter, and you're still playing the 1 in the Sweet 16.
Yes.
So what really matters is if you're not 4 or 5, if you're 3 or 6.
Yes.
That's what really matters.
If they could have gotten up to a 3, that's a big deal. You avoid the 1 seed until the Elite 8.
I'd almost prefer to be the 6 over the 4 or the 5.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think just staying in that bottom half of your bracket gives you a better chance to make a run.
Yeah, that's why you don't want to be the 8-9 either.
Yes.
Because then you got to play the 1 in round 2.
I would much rather be a 10 than an 8 or a 9.
Absolutely. 10-11 is the sweet spot.
Yes. And for Vanderbilt, I think you look at the draw overall and you say they could make a run. McNeese.
Yep. Absolutely.
Definitely a team that could beat them. Like there are no bad teams in this tournament, but you'd pick Vanderbilt to win that game. And then again, Nebraska, I think they will break the curse and beat Troy, but
Troy's also never won a tournament game.
There you go.
So
somebody's getting one.
Somebody's marching on.
But Nebraska is the only Power 4 team to not have won an NCAA tournament game. They could get through, but Nebraska is also a team that I think they were seeded a lot based on what they did early in the year. They struggled down the stretch after starting 20-0
in a very good league.
Yes, the Big Ten was very good.
Their season was very much like Vanderbilt's.
Yes, yeah, got off to a really hot start, struggled for a little bit.
You got into league play, and you lose games in league play.
Yeah,
that is just the way
That's how it works.
That's just the way it is, man.
And so I think that'll be a good matchup in the round of 32, but I think I'd take Vanderbilt in that game based on what we just saw this weekend at Bridgestone.
I got them in my bracket.
And then in the Sweet 16, easier said than done beating Florida again, of course.
But you know they can do it.
You've got proof of concept. You got confidence. You see that team across from you and you said, guess what? We beat them and we beat them bad on a neutral floor less than 2 weeks ago when they end up playing. I think that should give you some confidence. I said it yesterday. I think Vanderbilt is a very high ceiling, low floor team in this tournament because of the shooting. If Tyler Nickel and Duke Miles and Tyler Tanner are cold against McNeese, they could get beat.
Oh, it's a long day. That's a long day if all 3 of them are cold.
Right. If you're not making your shots from outside, they could get beat on Thursday and go 1 and done. This is a team that could also get to the Elite 8.
Yeah.
So I think for Vanderbilt, it's high ceiling, it's low floor. If Tyler Nickel, if that game against Arkansas was a sign of things to come, I think you feel pretty good.
He has been in a 6-week shooting slump?
He was making like 20% of his threes for
it's
weeks.
been dreadful. Look, but to me, the wild card is Duke Miles. All right. They are clear. I mean, they finished the season very strong with winning their last 2 conference games and then winning those 2 tournament games.
Yep.
And the difference was Duke Miles getting healthy. I mean, they are
100%.
They are clearly a different team with Duke Miles and Tyler Tanner back there together, and Miles putting upwards of 20 points. It changes the output of the team completely. And the injuries have been unfortunate this year, but without them, Chandler Bing doesn't develop into the role player that he has become for your team. It's also demanded that A.K. Okereke become more of a prominent scorer for you, which he has shown he can do.
Yeah.
So it's made your team a little bit deeper, and they needed to be a little bit deeper. I thought Tyler Nickel would be more consistent, and I don't know if he's hurt or if teams are just clamping down on him. I think the big key for them also is, I was doing a show last few weeks. I'm on a regular show, and they were asking me, how does Vanderbilt get these guys going? And I said, you play defense.
Yeah.
And you turn defense to offense, and you get in transition, and you open up the floor. And they did a little bit of that to get Tyler Nickel finally going.
Yep.
But also, when you've got Duke Miles out there, you got to cover him.
Yeah.
And so suddenly Nickel is open because you've got Tanner and Miles out there. So, I mean, Miles he's a game changer for the whole squad. He just is.
It is funny looking at the Vanderbilt men's and women's team. I think you can kind of match up like the way that they play. Like not exactly, but
no,
you got Tyler Tanner and Duke Miles. That's your
Justin
Aubrey
Passat
Galvin
and Nickel.
Justine Passat is Nickel. McLaughlin is like Sasha Washington of the undersized
absolutely.
big. And then who plays the four? Okereke could be Jack Langham Wintana. Like it is funny.
Names are even tough to say.
It is funny. It's like they kind of match up with the way that they play. And you're right. If Miles and Tanner are going and Nickel's making his threes, that's a dangerous team.
Yeah, you don't want to play that team, no matter who you are. Arkansas was awesome, and they still had a hard time shaking them.
Yeah. I mean, Darius Acuff was ridiculous. Brazil hit 4 of 5 threes.
Acuff might be the best player.
That was special to watch.
Man, I just look at him. I'm like, that dude's 25 years old. He's 18, but he looks like he's 25. He's Derrick Rose.
The one shot he made from the corner on Sunday, where I think he was complaining about a foul mid-shot. He felt like he got fouled and just right through the net. I'm like, I don't even think you saw the net.
Well, he's so strong. And that's like, some people call him Allen Iverson, and I get that. He's stronger than Allen Iverson.
Yep.
That's why I like him as Derrick Rose, because he is strong. He's probably a better shooter than Derrick Rose was at this point.
Yeah.
But man, I don't know if he goes second, third, or fourth or what in the NBA draft, but I'm just going to tell you that team is going to be really happy.
I think so too. I do. He was special.
I have a hard time, by the way, that and you're a victim of what's that say? Recently of
recency bias. Yeah.
Victim of recency bias. I have a hard time. I've got them in the Sweet 16, and I really want them in the Elite 8.
Yeah.
But I'm just like,
Arizona is going to be tough. But I know Parker's a big fan of High Point, the High Point men getting through to against Wisconsin. But that would be Arkansas's matchup.
Pretty good.
Wisconsin's good. This is the highest scoring Wisconsin team in a long time. But then, Arizona in the Sweet 16 would be a tough matchup for Arkansas. I think it'd be a good game, but it'd be a tough matchup.
Well, ultimately, I have Arizona. But I'm like, man. This team's good.
I would be tuned in for that game.
Yeah. That side of the bracket's loaded.
Yeah.
I mean, Arizona, Arkansas, Purdue.
Arkansas, Arizona would be one of the games I would circle on the entire thing.
For sure.
And so I want to watch that one.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. We got one more hour with you on this Wednesday morning. We'll talk some Preds. NSC also getting ready for a big game tonight.
That's tonight.
At Miami.
That's right. Winner moves on. Winner go home.
Yep. It was a scoreless draw back at Geodis Park last week.
I'm just going to interject here.
Yeah.
Brian Schwakey, the new goalkeeper, has given up 2 goals the entire season. He's started 12 matches for Nashville SC. He has never lost.
Wow. That's they've been off to a great start, and
they're awesome.
I don't know how that game was a scoreless draw last Wednesday. I was watching it. Like, Nashville had multiple chances down the stretch.
They should have 2.
But you go into a favorable situation As Nick Frazier told us yesterday, road goals count more. So a 1-1 draw is all it would take to move on.
Oh, so they wouldn't go OT?
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
a scoreless draw, it would go.
I thought they'd go shootout or something.
We'll look it up during the break.
Frazier
But
would know.
we'll talk about that coming up in the next hour. Also, the Preds getting a big win in Winnipeg last night. 615-737-1025. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Parker Kelly. Next man up, 1025 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Final hour on your Wednesday morning, broadcasting live from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis from News 2, Parker Kelly with you. Been a fun show so far. Lots of Titans talk, some college basketball as March Madness is underway. 2 more games tonight in the first 4 before the full swing of things gets going tomorrow. Vanderbilt starts its tournament tomorrow afternoon, Tennessee on Friday afternoon. But last night, the Nashville Predators with a big win up in Winnipeg, wrapping up the long road trip. They end up going 2-1-1 on that 4-game road trip.
Didn't feel that good, but that's pretty good.
And you look, if they don't blow the game against Vancouver, you could have been 3-1, which I think anybody would have taken heading into it. But you almost do the exact same thing you did in Vancouver last night. Yeah. Gave up a goal with a minute to go to Jonathan Taves. You end up winning in a shootout. Ryan O'Reilly had the game-winning goal. UC Saros with a couple of big stops. But this is a team that is still in the playoff race. No matter how hard it seems they've tried to pull themselves out of it, they find a way to stay in it last night with a big win against Winnipeg.
Look, staying in it is what's important to me. Because would I like to see him in the playoffs? Sure. Do I think they have any prayer of moving on in the playoffs? No, I do not. So what's important to me is Matthew Wood had another great goal last night. Another great goal last
sensational.
Night. He's played really, really well, and Ufko looks good as well. And then Luke Evangelista still skating with some of those guys as well. He seems to have cooled a little bit. But I want to continue to see those guys play in meaningful hockey games to find out just how big a part of the answer they are next year. Because right now, Matt Wood looks like he's a big part of the answer. And I would say Ufko looks like he's a big part of the answer next year. And now all of a sudden you're playing those guys on rookie deals. And you've got money to work with there. And, who is next? I still want to see Molendyke at the end of the year.
I was about to say, Molendyke, I think you can pencil him in to be on the team next year.
Yeah, but I'd like to see him at the end of this year.
I agree.
Now, is Brady Martin hurt? I've heard that Brady Martin might be injured. And I know he can't play until his junior season is over, but I wouldn't mind seeing him. But so more important to me that they just simply stay in it and they're playing meaningful games into game 80 than actually making it. And I don't mean to sound defeatist like that, but this is more about information for me than it is about actual making a run at the championship. And so, and we've seen in the past Andrew Burnett doing better with the younger guys.
Right.
And right now, looking a little bit better with some of the younger guys.
Yeah, and you've got Fedor Svechkov up there
Zachary
after
LaRue.
going down, Zachary LaRue, Reed Schaefer. So you've got a lot of these young guys up there getting valuable reps. And you're right. It allows you to plan for who's going to be a big part of our future, who's not.
Yes.
And I think you're finding that out through this, right? Like Matthew Wood, Ryan Ufko, both been great over the last couple of weeks.
Wood, I'm really excited about. He has hit a level that I did not anticipate seeing this year. I don't know what it is, but the confidence, you can just see it.
Yeah.
Like the way he attacked Hellebuck on that goal last night, I'm like, whoa, dude.
Yeah.
That guy just won the Olympic gold medal.
Right.
And you just took him out. That was a great goal.
Yeah, go ahead goal too to go up 3-2.
Yeah.
Matthew Wood, he's been really good, and the Preds, that was a much needed win last night because you lose that game, you're still 4 points out.
Got like 2 more with Seattle.
You got Seattle tomorrow here at Bridgestone, and we'll talk about that game. You've got 3 more with San Jose, who's 1 point ahead of you. You've got 2 more with the Kings, who are 2 points ahead of you. So you have an opportunity. They're going to be games you can go out and win.
If you can win all of those series, you go to the playoffs.
Yeah. So that's what, 6 games total. If you can win, if you could go like 4-1-1 in those, I think you feel good.
That's 6 games. That's 12 points. So I would say you need probably 8.
Yeah.
Because
I would say 8 or 9.
Yeah. Because you need them to be in regulation.
Yeah. Because you don't want to give the extra point to the other team.
You need 4-point games. You need 4-point games. You don't need 2-point games.
Right.
And I say that because you have more than one team to pass.
Yes.
So you need regulation. And that's what hurt about last night. And now Winnipeg was only a point behind.
Yes.
So they're right there too.
They're 2 points back now, but
Yeah,
if
they were
you
1
would
point
just
back.
held
Yeah.
on, they'd be 3 points back.
Exactly.
Which
And so you gave them a lifeline, and you can't do that. And,
Yep.
they were totally defensive and just couldn't finish it off. I mean, we've seen that a couple times now, and that's disappointing.
And right now, everybody fighting for that last wild card spot has 67 games played, except for San Jose. The Sharks have 1 game in hand. So but again, the Preds played the Sharks 3 times.
Now the Kraken and the Sharks were both down last night, but they played super late.
They both lost.
And
yes.
They both ended up losing in regulation.
I believe so.
Because that matters.
Let's see. Last night, the Sharks lost to the Oilers 5-3 in regulation, and the Kraken lost 6-2 to the Lightning.
Okay. So last night was a great
last night was a really good night for the Predators.
That's 2 4-point games against teams ahead of you. Did the Kings play last night?
I don't believe so.
Okay, I didn't think so either. But I remember tracking those games because the Sharks were down 2-0 early, and then all of a sudden we're tied at 2-2, and I was like, well, darn.
Yeah.
So last night, really good night for Nashville.
Yep.
But they can either be in the thick of it by Sunday night, or they can be out by Sunday night. 3 games in a really short period of time.
Very true. And the one on Thursday is huge. We'll get into that next. But first, let's go to our phone lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Adam in Portland is called in. Adam, thanks for calling. Good morning.
Well, man, I didn't realize how much the Preds being in the playoffs means to me, but until they miss, and then you're like, man, because you don't want to watch any of it whenever they're not, or at least I don't. It's not as interesting to me. But I will say, man, I heard somebody a lady come on the airways maybe yesterday that was like, well, don't let Nashville fool you. If they do make the playoffs, they're not really a playoff team. And I think that's insane to say that. Just get to the playoff. Yeah, you can make the playoffs. I don't think we're better than anybody that's in the playoffs, but I do know that if you streak at the right time in hockey, it's a big deal. Just like 2017, we were not a very good team.
8 seed.
After Christmas. Yeah, exactly. And then they took off like it was nothing. So
Pekka shut them down in Chicago. This team took off.
Right. All you got to do is sweep a great team. No, I'm not saying we could do that. All I'm saying is, if we just sneak in, dude, you never know what's going to happen. And I want to watch it.
Well, Adam, also think back a few years ago when the St. Louis Blues looked like they were trading off pieces at the deadline, and they went on to win the Cup. So you don't know when it comes together. You don't know when the matchups are good. That's the other thing. Sometimes the matchups are just good. The year the Preds went to the Cup final, once they got past Chicago, the matchups were good.
Yeah.
You felt good about them. Now, I don't know. The West is so loaded. I don't know about if I feel good about any of those matchups.
Right. You would have to.
Corey, do you remember the series? I'm sorry, Jake. Do you remember the series? I think it's 3 or 4 years ago when the Preds ended up playing a bunch of young players, snuck in, then all their vets came back and they lost.
Oh, yeah. That was
the Canucks series.
Was that in the
pissed me off so bad.
Wasn't that the COVID year?
The young guys who got there.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
That was a few years ago.
That was the COVID. That was John Hines in the COVID year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when they had Tanner Jeannot and all those guys, and they played really, really well. And then they got to the playoffs and they got smoked.
Yeah, don't break up the band on this one. That's all I ask you, man. You have a good day.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Adam. And yeah, you're right that this would be a tough road for the Preds if they make the playoffs. You're likely getting Colorado in the first round, and then you'd have to face the winner of Minnesota and Dallas. So it would be a tough road for the Preds, but you never know unless you get in.
That's right. Well, and I think also getting in would be an accomplishment because you're kind of in playoff mode now. You're playing for your lives every night.
Yeah.
And so you've got to win more than you lose to keep playing.
Yep.
And so, if they get into the playoffs, they would have already gotten through kind of their first round. And that's the way I would look at it.
That's a good point.
And so, there would have been an achievement there, especially getting there after you traded off some pieces. And again, I know some people were really upset about the pieces they traded off. Those are just guys. They're just guys.
Yeah. And you brought in the young guys who have filled those roles.
You can find those guys in free agency. In fact, all of them will be free agents next year.
Bring them back.
So if you want to bring them all back, you can. But, I would much rather watch the guys that are playing now play. And again, I'm not trying to disparage those guys.
Yeah.
Those guys aren't a part of the solution. All right. They're just guys. Barry always said, I can find third and fourth liners all day. All right. And that's what they traded away and they got good assets for.
Yep.
And so now, you're finding out what you got. And I think that's way more important going into next season.
615-737-1025. The Predators with a massive game coming up on Thursday at Bridgestone Arena, taking on the Seattle Kraken, who currently hold the last wild card spot. The Predators could, at least for the moment, move into a tie for that spot if they beat the Kraken on Thursday. We'll get into that coming up next. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Parker Kelly. The Nashville Predators returning home after a couple of weeks away. 5 out of the next 6 inside Bridgestone Arena. And starting with what I think, obviously there will be more important games if you keep on winning. But I think as of now, Thursday, tomorrow night at Bridgestone Arena, the most important game of the season. You've got the Kraken coming in. Right now, Seattle holds that final wild card spot with 71 points. You're 2 points back. Beat them in Seattle last week.
Yep.
If you can beat
In
them
regulation.
on Thursday, you beat them tomorrow, Predators, I don't think anybody can doubt that this team is legit and is in the conversation for the playoff spot. But if you lose, it becomes a real tough uphill climb. It is a 4-point game.
Yep.
You are either going to be tied with the Kraken or you're going to be 4 points back with 15 games to go.
Well, number one, you say you got to win. But number two, you cannot afford for this to be a regulation loss. This game has to go at overtime.
You need at least 1 point.
Yes, it has to be overtime. And really, just about every game the rest of the way, you have to be looking at that, saying we need a point. You need points. That's what the road trip, you go 2-1-1 and you get points in 3 out of 4 games. And that's generally kind of the pace you need to be at to get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
But since they're behind the 8 ball, they need to be a little bit better than that right now. And so you'd really like for this to be a 4-point game. You got them coming off of a loss.
Yeah.
And you just beat them. You're coming home.
And you've got 5 of your next 6 at home again. Seattle and Vegas, Thursday, Saturday. Then you go on the road to face Chicago back-to-back Sunday. And then all next week you're at home. San Jose, massive game.
Okay, you're talking about a whole bunch of games they can win.
Right.
You're not playing Dallas and Minnesota and in Colorado.
You've got one more game with Minnesota. Anaheim's been pretty good this year.
Yeah,
you play them twice. But outside of that, there's not a lot of world beaters on this schedule. Vegas is good. But you're not playing Colorado again. You've already played all your games against the Avalanche. You're not playing Dallas again. So these are games they can win. I look at, you got to stay in the race over the next 6 games here at home.
You got to get 8 points.
Yeah.
At a minimum, you got to get 8 points. In these next 6 games, you got to get 8 points. Now, there's different ways to get there, but you got to get 8.
And I would say you need at least 1 in those games against the Sharks and Kraken, because 4-point games going the other way, those can be killers.
Yeah, you can't have regulation losses to those teams.
I think the stretch that is going to decide this season, as long as the Predators don't crater out over the next 2 weeks, the first 3 games of April, at LA, at San Jose, at LA again.
Okay.
Those are 2 teams directly in front of you. You've got 3 straight road games against them to start April. Like that's going to decide, I think, whether you get into the playoffs or not.
Well, I think so you've got these next 3 games by Sunday. I think if you get 5 points or more, you're right there.
Yeah, you're in a really good spot.
And you're like, okay, we're right there. I think if you get 1 point or less, I think we're done.
Yeah, that's where the Predators are at this point.
Yeah,
there is very little room for error.
If you get 3, you're like, okay, we're still alive, but we're not taking advantage of our situation.
And that's kind of what it's been for the last month and a half. The Predators have been hanging in there. They haven't done enough to completely bottom out the season.
It's been like 2 steps forward, 1.5 steps
back. They're just not doing enough to get there, but they're also doing enough that they're
just when you think they're done.
Right.
They're all of a sudden, we're right back in it.
Yep.
I mean, that win in Seattle was like, whoa, well, where did this come from?
You had lost 4 out of 5 before that. And it's like, and Ted just traded away a bunch of pieces. And you're like, all right, probably over. But then you go beat Seattle. And then the Vancouver loss happens and you blow it. And you're like, oh man, that's the worst team in hockey.
That's killer.
And
just a killer.
You blew it. And then you lose to Edmonton. It's like, all right, well, now it might be over.
That's Edmonton.
And then you beat Winnipeg. And it's like, all right, we're back.
Look, you expected to lose to Edmonton.
Yes.
And so that's what made the point in Vancouver so tough to swallow. Because you
could have gotten 6 points on that road trip.
Yes. And you don't expect to get any, you hope to get a point in Edmonton, but you understand what you're up against. And so this team has given away 1 point here and there.
Yeah.
And you look at like I said last night, Winnipeg just a point back at the start of the night. If Winnipeg somehow makes the playoffs, they could point to that game and say that point we stole against Nashville is what got us in.
And it's not just that game. There are plenty of game. I look back to the Montreal game at the beginning of the year where Cole Caulfield scored with like 8 seconds left to send it to overtime, and then they lost.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a point that you could really use right now. And that's not the only game. There are plenty of examples of it. So the Preds, you're right. They've got to find ways to win.
They have a lot of OT losses.
Yes, they do. 9 of them.
And by the way, I think, and I may have heard this stat correctly, and I forgive me for whoever said it. I don't know if it was Willie or somebody else.
Yeah.
They lost in a shootout the other night.
Yeah.
And it was the first shootout loss
3 years
of the Andrew Burnett era.
Yeah.
Which is really insane.
It's
That's crazy.
It is crazy. And Ryan O'Reilly had the only goal in the shootout last night to get them back on track with a shootout win.
The factor.
Yes. Fact daddy.
I wouldn't trade that guy.
I understood not trading him. Not trading Hollow was a decision.
He's been pretty good.
Not since they didn't trade him.
Well,
I don't think. Actually, no, he had a point last night. He did score last night. Yeah.
He got the redirect.
Yeah.
Okay, how many goals does Hollow have? 14, 15?
Eric Holla has
I would say
11 goals.
11 goals. Because I would say coming into the season, I expected 8 to 12.
Yeah, he's got 11 goals, 21 assists, 32 points. That's good for 6th on the team.
Okay, that again, 30 points is where I would have topped him out for the season. So, he's probably looking at 40 by the time the year is over. I think that signing is looking better than I thought it was when it started.
He also leads the team in penalty minutes.
Yay.
It is funny. I'm just looking at the plus minus here. I know plus minus is a flawed.
Yeah, because
it's a flawed stat.
The penalty
it's
kill
like, right.
stuff. Yeah.
Ryan O'Reilly, Luke Evangelista, Zachary LaRue, and Joachim Kimmel, who Kimmel and LaRue have just barely gotten up. Those are the only positive plus minuses for the Preds.
Well, Luke Evangelista's on the power play, not on the right.
Kill. That's going to give you.
Yes.
But Steven Stamkos, the worst plus minus on the team, minus 22.
Wow.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Well,
but anyway,
I wonder how many of those are empty net.
That could be part of it too. Because like if you have 6 on 5, Stamkos is out there.
Yes,
so it's a good point.
Yeah.
615-737-1025. The Preds, a big one tomorrow night against the Kraken. 7:00 puck drop, 6:00 pregame right here on 102.5. The Game.
I love that nickname, the Kraken.
Yeah.
The uniforms are awesome.
Seattle and Utah did really well with Kraken and the Mammoth.
Yeah, I wanted the Yeti in Utah, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, well, I think they did too. I think they got they were not allowed to do that.
Oh, okay.
I think the coolers.
What do they have to do with hockey?
Yeah, I don't know. But I guess they.
But the Kraken, awesome name and awesome uniforms.
Yes. No, Seattle did well. Honestly, all the expansion teams, like the Golden Knights, the Kraken, the Mammoth, all of them have done a really nice job with what they've done so far.
All right, so dun.
615-737-1025. Excuse me, the Mammoth, not an expansion team.
No,
the relocated Coyotes coming from Arizona.
Who were the relocated Winnipeg?
Yeah, well, Winnipeg was the Thrashers. Well, before.
Okay.
Anyway, 615-737.
Colorado was Hartford, right?
Yes. No. Carolina was Hartford.
Okay.
They were the Whalers.
Okay. So where was Colorado?
I have no idea.
Gosh, I'm old.
We need the movement is tough in all sports, to remember where these teams come from. The NBA is easier because they never change their mascot. So where are all of the lakes? Oh, they're Minnesota. That's where the Lakers came from.
The Thunder.
Yeah, the Thunder. They were the Sonics. And apparently, for all of you Oilers, people who don't want the Titans to be the Oilers, apparently, if there is expansion in the NBA, the Thunder will give all of the Supersonics history back to Seattle.
And by the way, so Charlotte went Hornets, Bobcats, Hornets.
Yes, they did.
They said we can be Hornets again. Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, because they went to New Orleans,
and they were the New Orleans Hornets. And now they're the New Orleans
Pelicans.
So this is just falling apart on you.
And the Utah Jazz.
They're still the Jazz.
Yeah, I know. They're known for jazz out there in Salt Lake City.
They're just like the lakes in Los Angeles.
Colorado was in Quebec.
They were the Nordiques.
Yes.
That's right.
Thank you to Neil and Matthew from Jolton on the text line.
Thank you. I knew that. I knew that.
615-737-1025 is the phone number. Big game coming up tonight. NSC in Miami.
Dun, dun, dun,
Fort
dun.
Lauderdale trying to move on in the CONCACAF Champions Cup.
Messy.
We'll talk about it next. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Parker Kelly. Next man up, 125 the game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Parker Kelly. With you for a little under 30 more minutes. Chasing Big Joe coming up at noon. Big game tonight down in South Florida. Nashville SC in the round of 16 of the CONCACAF Champions Cup. And, of course, their opponent is Inter Miami, as it seems to always be.
Do they play anybody else? Is it just Miami? Is that the only team on their schedule?
Since the League's Cup final, I mean, it feels like anytime there's a big game, it's against Miami.
It's just amazing that you can match up with them in the playoffs,
right,
and then immediately in the Champions Cup.
Right.
But you know what? If you're Nashville SC, I think you like this matchup, from the aspect you're finding out what you got.
Yeah.
And you played really well against them in Nashville. You didn't convert some goals. Look, Schweiky stopped a shot by Messi, and normally you would see Messi bury that one.
Yeah.
But, you had really opportunities to win that game. And I don't know if you saw Christian Espinoza just undress the defense to give Nashville the win in Columbus. I mean, their talent level with him on the field, among other guys, Warren Madrigal as well, bringing back Nahar, they are better than last year. There is no question about it. They are a title contender in the MLS. This is a big game. I know it's a tournament game. This is a big game. This is a statement game for them. If you knock out Miami, you make a statement. You make a statement.
Yeah.
They want to win trophies. Miami wants to win trophies. By the way, this also gets you a step closer to playing in the World Club Cup.
Right. If you win the Champions Cup, you get an
automatic bid to that.
Right.
And so I think, they would like certainly to play in that. And so, this, again, Messi's not getting younger. He's still awesome. So don't get me wrong, but he's not getting younger. And, you are invested with, Andy Nahar now. When you brought back Jason Palacios, you've got Sam Surridge, you've got Hani Mukhtar for who knows how much longer.
Yeah.
This is your prime to strike. And I'm talking about in the MLS, but also in this. And you saw last game, they played here in Nashville, last year all through the Open Cup, we saw every guy on the roster play.
Yeah.
And only, the big guns only came in if they had to.
Right.
All right. The big guns started against Miami.
They want this one.
Yeah. And Miami started the big guns too. And so there will be a fever pitch for this game. And I am excited to see this game. And, we talked about it. They can advance with a draw.
Yes.
But not a 0-0 draw. A 0-0 draw goes extra minutes and then to PKs. So 1-1 tie, 2-2 tie, Nashville advances.
So once a goal is scored in this game, Nashville advances with a draw or a win.
Yes.
So it's an important game. It's not an MLS league game, but I think after that series against Miami last year, Nashville looked in the mirror and said, we're not good enough to compete with that level of competition.
They were not.
Let's go out and get players to put us into that tier. And tonight it's a measuring stick game, right? You can go say, all right, we made all these moves to get more talented. Can we go beat Miami and move on? And I'm excited to watch it.
And, it's unfortunate because, it was fortunate for them that they got Espinoza because of a clerical error. I mean, San Jose forgot to turn in his paperwork on his option year.
Right.
And, you see how good he is. And you see how good he is setting up goals for those other guys. Like another guy who I haven't mentioned is Patrick Yazbek. With the talent around Patrick Yazbek, you have seen Yazbek take his game to another level. He is a very young player.
Yeah.
From Australia. And he has been very good to start the year. And I know, you're still largely seeing goals from Surridge and Mukhtar. They're supposed to. But you are seeing more offensive production from more people. You're seeing Alex Muil get more opportunities. You're seeing Yazbek get more opportunities. You're seeing, Andy Nahar now isn't just a defender now.
Yeah.
He's more of a midfielder, and he's more engaged in the offense. And you're seeing more of those guys get involved offensively. And the creativity of Christian Espinoza is a huge factor in that. And, they are really a pick your poison team now. I mean, they are. I mean, Sam Surridge might only score 24 goals this year, but they might be a way better team.
It's a very good point. And tonight is going to be an exciting one down in Fort Lauderdale, 6:00 kick, I believe.
I don't know exactly. I should have looked, but that would make sense.
I think it is 6:00.
Is this another FS2?
FS1.
Okay,
FS1. So it's FS1 tonight.
I'm tired of watching analog games.
Yeah. FS1 tonight. ESPN, it's tough. You got to go all the way into the back of all the sports to find CONCACAF Champions Cup. It is a 6:00 kick tonight, Miami and Nashville on FS1. Again, Nashville doesn't have to win anything above a scoreless draw. Nashville advances on a draw or a victory. So excited for that one coming up tonight. Nashville trying to finally knock off Messi and Miami and move on to the quarterfinals. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. We've got one more segment left with you on this Wednesday. If you have any final thoughts, get those in on our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We'll wrap up the show after this. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 125 The Game. Next man up, 1025, the game. Final segment on this Wednesday. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Parker Kelly. Tomorrow on the show, TD will be with us for TD Thursday. We'll talk plenty of Titans with Teron Davenport. Chase and Big Joe are coming up right after us here on the station. We'll bounce around here in this final segment. Corey and I were just discussing the WNBA, CBA has been agreed to. So that was a big question. The salary cap raising from $1.5 million to $7 million.
Well,
So,
and then they also got charter flights last year too, right?
I believe so. Other factors, average revenue share of nearly 20% across the deal. The Supermax starts at $1.4 million. Average salary is in the range of $600,000. Minimum is above $300,000.
Yeah, they weren't at a serious level before. And listen, I totally understand you have to make money. I am down with that. But they have a much more marketable product than they did a decade ago.
100%.
I mean, there are games now. I mean, like, I know Caitlin Clark had a lot to do with that, but I think Caitlin Clark also brought a lot of people to the party and saw that there are more players than Caitlin Clark. I mean, Asia Wilson is awesome.
Amazing.
Yes. And so, and I think, as you look at college basketball and you see the Michaela Blakes of the world, you understand that there are more great players coming to enter that league.
Yeah, you look and Paige Beckers just went in last year, and she had a cult following as well, coming from UConn. In the next few years, you're going to get Juju Watkins in the league, Hannah Hidalgo, Michaela Blake, Sarah Strong.
So the league's getting deeper with its talent,
and there's going to be more star power.
Yeah.
So exciting there that they got that finalized.
Well, I'm glad. Because, like I said, I understand you got to make money at some point.
Yeah.
But I also understand you have to treat them like professional athletes at some point. And paying a professional athlete $60,000 a year and having them fly coach isn't being a professional athlete. That's being a minor league athlete.
Yep.
And I know that's professional too, but it's not the same.
And it's good to see that they've capitalized on the increased viewership, the increased revenue, and excited to see what that league does.
All
in the
those
future.
Indiana games were sold out,
right? And Dallas doing the same thing with Paige Beckers this year. So I think you're going to see it continue to grow as more stars enter the league. Speaking of Michaela Blakes, AP first team All-American.
Boom.
Now a first team All-American by 5 outlets. So congratulations there. And also I meant to get to this at the top of the show. Did you watch the WBC last night?
I saw parts of it. I was watching the Preds game.
Oh, right. Yeah. It was a multi-view type of night last night.
Yeah. Venezuela beat us.
Yeah. I had Preds, I had the WBC, had the first 4, but great game. Down 2-0. Bryce Harper finally comes through with the big swing to tie it. Then Eugenio Suarez had the go-ahead double, and the U.S. could not come through in the bottom of the 9th. Lots of controversy around all of this because there's a blame game going around with like 8 different people. Mark DeRosa is getting a large portion of the blame because he did not start Gunnar Henderson last night.
Okay.
He did not start Cal Raleigh last night. And he did not start Pete Crow Armstrong last night.
If you know much put a Cub on the bench, you're done. and Mark DeRosa was a Cub. He should know better.
So Mark DeRosa getting a lot of heat for that. Aaron Judge also getting a lot of heat for being a no-show in the elimination game.
Okay, I didn't see a lot of it. I did see him take a 3rd strike.
He took multiple, and it was not good. He came up after the Bryce Harper game-tying home run.
That guy's huge.
Yeah,
Aaron Judge.
Aaron Judge. He's a really good player, but he's not breaking the the narrative that he can't come up in clutch situations.
Until you do, you don't.
And so it was brutal to see that the U.S. had 3 hits last night.
Yeah.
3 hits, and you end up losing 3-2. Tarek Skubel's getting a lot of hate too because he did not come back and pitch for Team USA after pitching 40 pitches against Great Britain in the pool play. People need to understand the one thing that could derail him from getting $500 million is an injury. That's it. That is even if has just an above average season this year, teams are still going to pay him $450 million.
Yeah, that's a lot of money to risk
the WBC. It's fun. It is not the World Cup.
Yeah,
it is not the Olympics. Like it matters People want to win it, and you saw the emotions from Venezuela when they won it.
It's picking up steam. I will say that.
People care about it. Venezuela, there were a lot of guys moved to tears by winning that tournament last night.
Well, I mean, we did just kidnap their dictator president guy.
They were kind of happy about that, though.
Well, a lot of them are, yeah. It's still an invasion of your soil.
It's true. And they were happy. I liked it because Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez were on the staff, so I got to see them celebrate. But it's not the World Cup. It is not the Olympics. And for Tarek Skubal,
it doesn't have the history of it, that's for sure.
I think Tarek Skubal wanted to pitch, but I am 100% sure Scott Boras told him, hey,
no way.
You're going to make yourself a lot more money leading the Tigers back to the playoffs this year rather than you would pitching in the WBC finals.
I always remember Jalen Smith, the Notre Dame linebacker, who would have been like a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
Tearing everything in his left knee in that bowl game. And, he ended up making some money in his career, but nothing like he would have made. And so now when guys don't play in bowl games, I'm like, yeah, I get it.
And that's where I am with Tarek Skubal. A lot of people are blaming him. You're going to blame the pitcher who didn't pitch when your dream team lineup had 3 hits last night.
Well, I would say this. Give me have USA Baseball come up with an insurance policy that pays me $400 million.
Yeah, there you go.
Blow out my arm.
Yeah, USA Baseball, if you want Tarek Skubal to pitch in the championship game, write up that insurance policy and see if it sticks.
And I'll be there.
And again, if they had lost, if Nolan McLean gave up 8 runs last night and you were never in the game, sure, maybe you can make that. Man, if we had Tarek Skubal on the mound, you scored two runs, you had 3 hits.
Yeah, that's not good enough.
You've got Aaron Judge and Bryce Harper and Bobby Witt Jr. and all this dream team lineup.
Crow Armstrong on the bench.
Yeah, Cal Raleigh with 60 home runs last year on the bench.
That's tough to explain.
That Will Smith, I think, is a better defensive catcher.
Well, I mean, look, he was great in Men in Black, but in the WDC final, I don't know if he's the way to go.
I want the big dumper. And Gunnar Henderson, who had been one of the hottest hitters on the team, off the bench, he got an at bat in the 9th. But no, it's disappointing because I think the U.S. they were right there.
You lose, you're going to get second guessed. That's the bottom line. Look, if those guys all come through, Mark DeRosa is a genius.
Yeah.
But they didn't come through, so now it's the manager's fault. Ultimately, in any sport, players got to play. Yeah.
And the other controversy was Mason Miller, who apparently was only available in a save situation last night. The Padres said, and that I do think is kind of ridiculous.
He can pitch or he can't.
Right. The Padres said he's only available in a save situation. So that means when it's 2-2 top of the ninth, you can't pitch him.
Bags juiced.
Right. Like
the crowd going crazy.
It's ridiculous. Like I agree. Tell him, hey, if it's not a high leverage situation, we don't want him out there. But if you say he can pitch in a save situation, he should be able to pitch in a 2-2 game in the ninth.
If you're down 8-2, we don't want him out there.
Right.
There's a difference.
But
if you're down, 4-3, you need to keep it close.
2-2 top in the ninth.
Yeah.
You needed Mason Miller out there. Anyway, it was a fun WBC, and now we are a week away from opening day. So a little appetizer for everybody's baseball appetites. And I'm excited for opening day next Thursday. Corey, always fun having you. And it was good to be back, in the same room for the first time in a couple of weeks.
I feel like a letdown every time I come here because I forgot Thor Ragnarok Hulk again.
Oh.
And Parker really wanted me to bring that, and I forgot it again.
Yeah, I am disappointed by that.
I fed All For One, my fish, and Thor Ragnarok Hulk is right there next to him on the way out the door.
Next time.
And I dropped the ball. And by the way,
we do have good news coming next week though.
What's that?
Daredevil season 2.
Okay. And we haven't talked cryptids, We did that when you were gone.
I heard, and there is a chance that I'm traveling next week for the tournament. So maybe you and Connor will get back into that if he's in with us.
We can talk cryptids more. Yeah.
That'll do it for us. Tomorrow, TD is with us for TD Thursday. Chase and Big Joe are coming up next. You're on 102.5 The Game.